A perpetual is a being that is essentially immortal, never aging and capable of ultimately healing almost any injury. It is this capability that is responsible for their name. Perpetuals have been known to survive dismemberment, suffocation, decapitation, and even complete disintegration, and their bodies always regenerate and bring them back to life after a clinical death. This can be seen as a miracle, for an unending body, a body that is undying, is clearly a superpower, some that many will kill billions for to attain. But oftentimes it is a curse, and it is a curse that has afflicted one of the Primarchs, Vulcan. So let's take a look at how Vulcan fought against Magnus in the webway and what he had to go through, and how his perpetualness is more of a curse than a blessing. What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. In this one, I'm going to be going over an excerpt from none other than The End and the Death that pits a very interesting scene between a perpetual Primarch. Because oftentimes when we see perpetuals, we think of the Emperor of Mankind, or Erda for that matter, or any other human. But in this case, we are looking at a being created by the Emperor who is undying, and that is the perpetual Primarch Vulcan. So during the End and the Death, we see a various amounts of death and destruction happening all around the galaxy, focusing on Terra, and overall we're seeing Primarch versus Primarch. We're seeing armies of chaos going against the loyalist forces of the Imperium, and here we see brother versus brother, and that is Vulcan versus Magnus. So I'll be covering the actual fight at a later date, but this is what happens after Vulcan essentially kills Magnus in the webway, and he's making his trek back to the Golden Throne. So without further ado, let's dive in. Vulcan has not failed his father, not ever, and it has cost him too many lives and deaths already. I see him, deep in the webway, hammer in hand, trudging homeward to take his place at the gate beneath the throne. Tears spring to my eyes at the mind sight of him. He is but a charred skeleton, crusted ribbons of flesh broiled to his cracked bones, refusing to die, trying to heal. He stumbles. His newborn heart, misshapen, has foundered and burst. He falls, dead, and then lives. Such is the curse gifted to him. He lives and slowly hauls his bones upright once more, clawing at the haft of his scourged hammer for support. He stands, he sways, and he begins to walk again. Vulcan has just killed Magnus, the second greatest of his father's failures, the greatest of his disappointments. Because of what Magnus is now, that death won't last. The Lord of Prospero can't really die, but Vulcan has vanquished him, and he has banished his deathless corpse into the outer darkness. I do not know how many times Vulcan died performing that deed, or how many times he has died on the long walk back from it, starting again, restarting as he struggles to fully live once more. Vulcan has killed Magnus, but still the warp screams at his heels, and the screech of pursuing demons echo down the hollow psychoplastic pathways of the webway beneath him. I reach to him and whisper gently into his still renewing mind. I tell him that we need him here. I need him to stand and guard the throne and bar the webway door. He must hold it while his father is gone. He does not answer, for he cannot. He has no lips, nor tongue, nor throat, barely even an embryonic sentience. But I feel his assent. Vulcan will prevail. He will not fail us, for he is eternal, just as we made him to be. He is the quintessence of infinite patience. I watch him a moment longer, the halting skeleton, dragging itself back from innumerable graves, meat and sinew slowly knitting on its bones, blood welling forth as from some sacred spring to plump the neobastic veins and capillaries still sprouting like vines across his reassembling frame, the hammer dragging heavy on the ground behind him. He walks relentlessly, half dead, out of the furnace, out of the nocturnal veil, to serve the throne. Vulcan has fought against other Primarchs before, such as the time when he lost against none other than his brother Primarch, that of Conrad Kurz. Kurz I captured him and began torturing him, killing him time and time again to see just how his perpetual abilities worked. So he's died countless times against a Primarch before, and we see it here yet again against none other than Magnus the Red. As we can see, the narrator, or in this case Malcador the hero, the Sigillite, is saying that this is the second most disappointing loss to the Emperor. The loss of his Primarch son, Magnus. First, of course, being Horus, but Magnus was always meant to be the Emperor's battery, I guess you can say. He was meant to sit on the Golden Throne. He was meant to power the Golden Throne, power the Astronomicon, and essentially take the place that the Emperor currently is taking right now, except not in a half-dead state. So as strong, as powerful as a Psyker Magnus was, now that he has been basically a servant to that of Tzeentch, the Chaos God of Change, we see Vulcan fighting against a much stronger, a much powerful Magnus, and who knows how long this battle took in the webway, because as we know, anything that happens in the webway / the warp is kind of funky because time flows differently. But anyway, this was a battle of the ages, clearly one to be told, and I will get to it. But yeah, it's pretty epic to see just Vulcan, basically a skeleton, trying to do the one task he has been told by his father, the God Emperor of mankind, even though he has no sentience. He cannot speak, he cannot see, he is literally just a shambling, burnt-up corpse, and yet he knows what he must do. He must protect the Golden Throne, and that is why we see this epic visage of a skeleton emerging from the webway to protect that of Terra. Really awesome stuff. So in this case, I guess you can say being a perpetual is a blessing and a curse, because if he wasn't a perpetual, he would never have gotten to this position. Kurz would have killed him long ago, and say for some reason if he did end up fighting against Magnus, Magnus could have just killed him so easily with just a flick of his wrist. But yeah, clearly he has been given this gift, as we see Malcador and the Emperor gave him the ability to be a perpetual, so it is something that can be achieved through psychoscience, alchemy, any other type of ways that the Emperor is capable of gifting his Primarchs. He could have given them all perpetualness, but he chose Vulcan, and we see why. He is unflinching, unending, and he has this courage, this determination, unlike any other Primarch. So yeah, Vulcan is pretty badass. So let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know, what do you think about Vulcan, the ability to be a perpetual, and overall let me know your thoughts on, should I continue the battle? Well, I didn't get to the battle, but you know what I mean. Should I get to the battle? But anyway, that's all I got for today. It's been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation. I knew I never had that much to lose.